Hello children, welcome to yet another session of Geography, Class 10's Natural Vegetation, Session 2. So before we commence, let us have a quick look at what we have studied in our previous session. In our previous session, we had studied about that plants and trees which grow naturally in an area by climatic conditions, soil and altitude, such vegetation stand for long time without being disturbed by man. So that is what is natural vegetation. Next, we had done the reasons why India has a large variety of vegetation because of the huge size of the landmass, great variation in temperature and rainfall, changes in altitude, large variety of soil. We had studied about the factors which were affecting the growth of natural vegetation, and we found that temperature, rainfall, soil, humidity, altitude, all these plays a part in the growth of natural vegetation. Now, types of natural vegetation that we have studied is the tropical evergreen forest, tropical deciduous forest, tropical thorn forest, littoral or delta forest, a mountain forest. So these are the 5 types of vegetations which is covered in the syllabus. We start with the tropical evergreen forest. We had learnt that it was found when the western slopes of the Western Ghats, northeast, Assam and Meghalaya, Andaman and Nicobar Islands. These were the places which were receiving more than 250 centimeters of rainfall. Now, apart from that, the temperature was 25 to 27 degrees Celsius. Now, trees of this tropical evergreen forest were evergreen in nature. That means there was no fixed time of these trees in which they would the leaves would fall. Trees were hardwood. Dense undergrowth was there because of heavy rainfall. Large variety of trees were growing in small areas, and the trees were very tall, over 60 meters in height. So that was the features of the trees of the evergreen forest, also called the rainforest. Now, important trees of this was your rosewood, ebony, chaplas, gurjan, mahogany, rubber and cinchona. Children, you can just learn any 4. Now, there were some drawbacks of the evergreen forest. Now, hardwood trees which were of little commercial values, multiple species were there growing in one places. The forests were dense, there was lack of transportation to these forests, and as such these forests were not fully exploited. We had also studied about the tropical deciduous forests. Now, deciduous forests there are 2 types of deciduous forests, the moist and the dry deciduous forest. The moist deciduous forest in which more rainfall occurred, and the dry deciduous forest less rainfall occurred. Now, some of the trees, teak, sal, peepal and neem are the examples of trees which were grown in this deciduous forest. Now, the major part of India was covered with the deciduous forest. You can see in this picture. Characteristics that we had learnt was the trees shed their leaves to prevent excessive loss of moisture. Forests are not very dense. Fewer varieties of trees were found. And forests allowed easy access to timber and had great commercial value. I hope, children, you are making notes of these so that this helps you in learning fast. Important trees: sal, teak, shisham, mulberries, sandalwood, tendu and bamboo. Now today we start with the desert or the thorn forests. Now, the desert or the thorn forest, the leaves of these trees are waxy in nature to prevent the loss of moisture from the leaf skin. The plants have deep roots. Temperatures in which they are found are places which are having greater than 40 degrees Celsius. Rainfall is less than 50 centimeters. Trees found in this region, Kikar, Babool, Neem. These are some of the examples of trees found in the tropical thorn forest or the desert forest. Now let us have a look at the characteristics once again, that they have thick waxy skin, they have fleshy stems to store water, the leaves are reduced to spikes or spines to reduce transpiration, and then they have shallow and widespread roots to take water from wherever they find. Okay, next is here are some of the pictures of the trees found in the thorn forest, and ber is also one of the trees which is found, and here is a picture on the left hand side, and neem, which is a very common tree, this is also found in the thorn forest. Next, what is found is acacia. This is the tree, acacia and babool. Okay, children. Now, only the names, only 4 names that you memorize. You need not learn the uses of the trees. Earlier in ICSE, the uses were asked, but since last year they have said that uses of the trees will not be asked. So, children, make a note that uses of the trees are not important. You don't have to learn them, because it is not in the scope of the syllabus, as last year they have reduced. They have removed the uses of the trees. But if you see the old papers, you will find questions based on the uses of the trees. So please make a note to ignore that. Okay, now this is a picture of date palm which is found in the desert regions. Okay. Next we come to the littoral forests, and about the littoral forest, we are going to study about the littoral forest. Now this littoral forest is known by various names. Not only littoral forest, it is also called the tidal forest, it is called the mangrove forest, it is called the delta forest, and it is also called the swampy forest. So there are various names for littoral forest. So in the question paper, they need not use the word littoral. Instead of littoral, they may use the word tidal, they may use mangrove, they may use delta forest, or they may just use swampy forest. Is that clear, children? Okay. Now the areas where you will find this littoral forest, and the littoral forests are found in the deltas of Ganga, Brahmaputra, Mahanadi, Godavari, Krishna and Kaveri. They are saline swamps. Now in the Ganga delta, these forests are called Sundarbans, found in the Ganga Brahmaputra delta. And the name Sundarban has been given because of the large concentration of the Sundari trees. Sundari tree is a type of tree found in these tidal forests. So Sundari, because of the presence of a large number of Sundari trees, the delta, the Ganga and the Brahmaputra delta is called the Sundarbans. Is that clear, children? Okay. Next, now the characteristics of the tidal forest or the trees of the tidal forest. Firstly, they are evergreen in nature. They have stilt-like supporting roots which are submerged in water during the high tides. Now children, you can see in this picture the stilted roots. Now all these roots can be seen above the ground. Their roots can be seen above the ground when there is low tide. When the high tide comes, all these roots get submerged with water. So this type of root is called stilted roots. Is that Clear? Stilt roots, stilt-like roots you can say. Also called the breathing roots. Okay. Next, the important trees of this tidal forest. One of the trees we've already discussed is the Sundari tree. As I said, this tree is found in abundance in the Sundarbans. And as such, the name being given there. This is the Sundari tree. This is the Keora, another tree found in the tidal forests. Then we have the Agar tree also, which is found in this tidal forest. Okay, now with this tidal forest we end here. Sundari tree, I told you, is found in abundance in Sundarban, and as such the name being given, and it is a light wood Sundari tree used for making boats, but the uses are not important, so we will leave it. We come straight to the mountain forest. Now the forest is greatly influenced by the decrease in temperature with the increase in height. So the mountain forest, as the name suggests, it is as the height increases, temperature decreases, we know that. So these forests are divided into two groups, the mountain forest. One, we will study about the forest of the Himalayan range, and next we are going to study about the forests which are found in the southern peninsula hills. The southern peninsula hills are low hills, they are not very high hills like the Himalayas. So they have a different vegetation, whereas the Himalayan mountain ranges, they have a different vegetation. Is that clear? Okay. Now in general, the one which are found in the Himalayas in this vegetation differ with altitudes. Now the Himalayan vegetation, it keeps differing with the altitude. As the altitude changes, what happens? It is also changing. As the altitude changes, the vegetation keeps changing. Now near to the foothills there might be mixed vegetation, higher little up there might be temperate vegetation, and as we go higher then hardly any vegetation, only mosses and lichens are found, tundra type of vegetation, and still above there is permanent snow line, that is no vegetation, it's fully covered with snow. So it changes, the vegetation changes with height. Now mountain forests vary considerably according to the altitude, with varying rainfall and temperature along the slopes of the mountain. At the higher altitude of the Himalayas, rhododendrons and junipers are found. Beyond these vegetation belts, the alpine grasslands appear up to the snowfield. So snowfield is the area which are permanently covered with snow. Forests on the foothills of the Himalayas up to the height of 1,500 meters. Evergreen trees such as sal, teak, bamboo and cane grow abundantly. So at the foothills of Himalayas you will find these sal, teak, bamboo and cane growing abundantly. Now characteristics of these Himalayan forests. They are evergreen in nature. The trees are softwood trees. Soft, that means you can easily, they can be cut and pulp. It is used for making paper and pulp industry. Light furnitures can be made. Now the trees are cone shaped. The trees are cone shaped, as such they are called coniferous trees. There are fewer varieties of trees. They have pointed leaves. And why do they have pointed leaves? So that the snow does not rest there, it falls down. So as such, they are also cone shaped. The trees are cone shaped so that the snow falls down on the ground and not rest on the trees. Now, important trees of the Himalayas, we have the silver fir, juniper, pine, birch, spruce, deodar, maple. Now, there are some pictures of these trees for you to identify. This is what on the left hand side the silver fir looks like, and this is on the other, the juniper looks like this. The deodar tree is of this, it appears like this, and the maple tree you can see the red leaves. So it appears very beautiful, the maple tree. Okay, now after doing the Himalayan forest, we come to the southern mountain forest. Now the southern mountain forests are also called the sholas. Now the rainfall here is 150 centimeters, temperatures between 18 to 24 degrees, humidity 51 to 81%, and areas of Western Ghats, Vindhyas, Nilgiris. So all these areas, they fall under the forest trees of the South India. Now, characteristics of the trees of the South India, they are a mixture of tropical and temperate forests from a height of 1,500 meters above the sea level. So, above 1,500 meters, they show a mixture of tropical and temperate forests. Temperate forests are called sholas in Nilgiris and Annamalai hills. Important trees are Magnolia, Laurel, Cinchona, Wattle, Jamun and Plum. Okay, with this I come to the end of this session. So please learn whatever, make notes and learn whatever done so that it is easy for you. There is not many chapters that you have to mug up. You know the pattern well, and please start learning your work. So till then, you stay safe and stay at home. Thank you.